high traffic, high rent, a lot of competition. We didn't care. We didn't think about any of this. We were just like, yes, sign us up. Hi everybody. So this is Trini Business Life, where I talk about life as a business person in Trinidad. This is a little story time about the time my husband and I bought a store on Frederick Street and got evicted. So I was reading the newspaper for entertainment purposes and I was reading through the classified specifically. That's where all the vibe is. So, just looking at the jobs, even though I had a job, looking through the jobs to see what was going on in the country, how much people pay for things, if I ever wanted to jump ship and leave my job, which I wasn't going to do, let's be honest. But, what people were charging and paying out there. So, looking through the classifieds, since I was small, I was fascinated by classifieds in Trinidad because people are strange in this country and they would advertise all kinds of things. I mean, I'm saying strange, but for somebody else that might be normal to advertise, I don't know, single male 55 years old looking for 28-year-old or younger woman, preferably with a pet snake or some weirdness. I don't know if they still have things like that in the newspaper classifieds. Y'all could let me know. But I came across a lot of ads where people were selling businesses, like stores. And so I was like, oh my gosh, we could open a clothes store. We could buy a clothes store from somebody. Zero planning, zero discussion beforehand, nothing. So saw a lady was selling a store in Port of Spain. It just had Port of Spain. The price was right. I can't remember the price. It may have been $12,000, $15,000. I can't remember, and it was like 7 years ago. We were married in 2014, so that means it might have been 2015 that this happened, right? So boom, call the number. So we went, saw the place. It was a little shabby, but it had great potential. It was a store in a mall in downtown Port of Spain, Frederick Street. High traffic, high rent, a lot of competition. We didn't care. We didn't think about any of this. We were just like, yes, sign us up. So we took a loan from the worst bank in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, mind you, we had no prior thought, planning, desire, or maybe just a little inkling of a desire in my heart to have a clothes store, but nothing major. We were really some crazy bats, But anyway, so finally got the loan. The loan took a long time to come through. I don't know. And we got the store. So we had no idea where to get wholesale clothes online or in Trinidad or anywhere. We had no idea about these things. But my husband, Kareem, he was like, just look online. So I went in the people them work hours, looking online, Googling wholesale suppliers of clothes. And I didn't know what I was looking for, but eventually I found a few places. I have no experience in any of this. So I just went on a whim, went with God. God led me. I would assume he was leading me. I didn't necessarily say, God, please lead me to a clothes store or a few clothes stores. By the way, you need more than one supplier. That's a free little tip right there. You can't have one supplier because, let's be real, no one place will give you everything that you need to supply your business. That's a free tip. So got some suppliers and ordered this stuff. I didn't do very much calculation of if their prices were cheap enough for me to resell at any particular price point or whatever. Tell y'all, I had zero experience. So I was just doing whatever, In my mind, I'm a boss babe and I'm just killing the game. I don't know what I was thinking. I was a hot mess. So open the store finally, but I'll try to put a picture here of our opening day or our store, whatever, so you'll actually see what it looked like. But it looked really good. And so we opened and things were going well for the first 3 weeks. And then I realized, oh, because I was on vacation, I was working in the main one working in the store, but my husband's job is flexible. So we didn't really think through like, well, who's gonna work in the store? So we had to scramble to find a worker. That was a hot mess, but God sent a lovely girl, my lovely Josanne. But then she decided she wanted to like further her education or whatever and become a doctor, go to med school. She didn't care about us. She did not care about us. She was just selfish. I'm kidding. It is great to follow your dreams. So Josanne had to leave maybe like this September or something, and so we had to hire somebody else. So we hired somebody else. She came, she was cool. And then announcement on the news, Trinidad is in a recession. So yeah, now I didn't really think that deeply about it, but everybody else in Trinidad clearly did, because people stopped buying clothes. I guess it wasn't like important. So yeah, so we saw a very sharp, drastic, whatever, decline. I should know these things. Decline in our sales. And that was a hot mess, because it was like, OMG, we cannot make rent. But we had to take out of our savings, our salaries and whatnot to pay rent for the store. But eventually we couldn't sustain that. Because the rent there, I don't even know what rent is like these days, but the rent at the time might have been $5,500 in the store. I need to pull up this video. It's too low. Y'all are not seeing the glory that is my hair, and I don't like that. One moment. So anyway, where was I? Recession. So yeah, people weren't buying. No money coming in. Well, not no money, but like you're making maybe enough to cover the rent, but then we couldn't buy any new stock. After like 2 or 3 months or 4 months, I don't know how long, of not being able to pay the rent in full, or paying it very late. That's what happened mostly. They had just switched managers in the mall, and this new manager, she came along. We up to this day, we have never seen this. Well, at least I have never seen this person in like face to face. But she used to call, and she'd be like, y'all kind of in the red zone. Y'all need to pay something, or else we may have to like close y'all down. And we were like, what? Close us down? That was wild to me. Wild. I was like, I don't know what I thought was gonna happen. Like they would just be like, okay, that's enough. You can't pay rent. Close down. And we would just go. I don't know what I thought was gonna happen. Yeah. But this man called us. He was like a bailiff or something. I can't remember right now. But he basically said, if y'all and he was so sweet. He was the sweetest man in the history of people. And he said, if y'all don't pay, we will have to, we'll have to close y'all down, and y'all won't be able to retrieve any of the things in the store, and we have to take your stuff and sell it to make back the money that you'll owe. And I was like, well, first of all, we don't really have that much in stock. So he said that, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. And after the first month, they didn't do anything. So I was like, well, okay, we try it, and they're working with us. And the second month or so, they locked the doors of the store, and we couldn't, and they took back the key. It was very pleasant, by the way. The head of security was my husband's friend. Like, they became friends because my husband is very friendly. So the store was closed. I was so embarrassed, y'all. Cue like the violin music. I was really sad. I was really embarrassed because, like, I was like, people knew I had a store. My friends and whoever else. And if they're passing in town, they'd pass by the store and they'd be like, oh my God, check out your store today, girl. Yes, I like that new jacket all you have, whatever. So I was really embarrassed about it. And I felt like a failure. And, I just I didn't even want to talk about it. Like my best friend in work, I told her enough for her to know that I was having difficulty in business, but I didn't even want to bring myself to tell her what exactly was happening because it was just so embarrassing. So that happened, and y'all, God is so good. The new manager, one day, she called me, and she was like, I wanna talk to the owner about your case, because he's been following up every now and again, I guess, on the issue, and I want to talk to him about your case specifically because I know you guys are really good people, and let me get back to you on all of it. But I think that he might be a little bit accommodating. So I was like, oh my gosh, thanks so much, I would appreciate it. And I felt like, oh my gosh, God, it's so good, maybe he'll knock off a little bit of the money that we're owing or some kind of thing. You guys, she called me back like not long after. I can't remember how long. You guys, the owner of this mall owns big businesses in this country, okay? One of the, I wouldn't even go into what he owns. Like, if I just name the one thing, you'll know who he owns a lot of things, right? So it's not some small fry. So she called him, she called us back, and she said he's willing to cancel your debt completely. We were owing this man 20-something thousand. To this day, that is one of my biggest testimonies in business of how God really came through in the nick of time. I don't know, but business really requires faith, it requires guts, and it really does strengthen you. So, that's where I'll end this little story time. I just feel emo right now. So thanks for watching Trini Business Life with me, Nizelle. Bye.